This episode is brought to you by me. Who else would sponsor my own podcast? For those of you who know, I have a YouTube channel called Flaco the Great with over 1,785 subscribers. We are almost there at 2,000. And on my YouTube page, I like to upload gaming videos, vlogs, funny skits, live streams, shorts, etc. to bring entertainment to you guys. That's right, to you. So you're probably asking me, how do I find this YouTube channel? All I have to do is click the link in my description below, or you can go to YouTube and spell Flaco the Great, and you'll see an awesome cinematic AI photo of me. Please don't judge. And all you have to do is 3 things. Like the videos that I make, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can get notified of every new episode that I upload on YouTube. Click the link in my description below. Please subscribe to my channel. See if we can get to 2,000 before the end of this year. I really hope you guys enjoy the content that I'm making you.
Hello, and welcome to Flaco's Fun World Podcast. This is a show that is hosted by none other than Flaco the Great, who wants to bring laughter and joy to your faces. Whether you like movies like Star Wars or Marvel, or games like Five Nights at Freddy's, Bendy, Minecraft, or perhaps you are into funny stories about Flaco's life, we have it all. Now sit back, my friends, and enjoy today's episode on Flaco's Fun World Podcast.
Hello everybody, my name is Flaco the Great and welcome back to yet another wonderful episode of Flaco's Fun World Podcast. Some of you may be wondering where I've been for the past couple of weeks, and I apologize. I have been very busy, but we'll get to that in just a moment. You're probably wondering, for people who are new to this, what is Flaco's Fun World Podcast? Flaco's Fun World Podcast is an episode where we are just here to have a daggum good time. Whether we talk about some of our funniest moments in our lives, whether it be the scariest moments in our lives, funny stories like that. If you're not into that and you're more interested in stuff like maybe gaming or movies, etc., I got you there as well. Recently we've been talking about some stuff like Fnaf, Minecraft, Star Wars, Marvel, you name it. We do it all here on this. I really hope you guys didn't just see that. So basically the point of Flaco's Fun World Podcast is we're just here to have fun. And also even sometimes share some moments about whether God has done in our lives, And I feel like that's something that I want to do. In fact, I am working on an episode that I'm actually pretty excited about, but I'm not going to spoil too much about it. But before we begin, let's just do a quick little small talk. So as you guys know, or maybe you guys don't know, I've been working a lot. I've been taking extra shifts at Chick-fil-A. Yes, I'm still working at Chick-fil-A. And it's finally been a whole year since I began at Chick-fil-A, which makes me a Chick-fil-A veteran. Maybe not really, but, it's close enough. Recently, though, I've been taking extra shifts, trying to get extra hours after I finally bought my computer, which cost me about $2,000. And I also bought a PlayStation 5. I don't know if y'all can see that. For people who are watching this on YouTube or on Spotify, I'm showing off my PlayStation 5. I've been gaming a lot recently. Maybe a little too much. I mean, there has to be at least some boundaries here and there. But I just beaten Marvel Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. I am almost done with Marvel Spider-Man 2. I just played Secret the Mimic on PlayStation 5. For those of you who are subscribed to my channel, you guys will know that I did a live stream on it. And I'm probably going to do another one where I try to get the other endings. And I really love that game, dude. If you guys want me to do an episode about what exactly maybe the Secret of the Mimic was trying to tell us, please let me know in the comments below. However, this won't be the last time I mention Secret of the Mimic in this episode for people who saw the title and the thumbnail of this video, but that's gonna have to wait in just a second. But yeah, I just beat the first God of War, and when I get paid, I'm probably gonna get God of War Ragnarok because the price just went down from $70 to about $30, which is, I'm going to say, pretty good because that game is super expensive. So I'm hoping I can get it before the price goes back up again. But hopefully it stays dropped down by the time I get paid. Really loving the PlayStation, man. The quality is great, and there's just a lot more games I can finally play that I couldn't on the Xbox One, which I've given to my sister Lydia now, and just really happy about that. I also gave her my monitor. Sometimes though I borrow it in case if I just want to play in my room, or mostly I would play in the loft. Not in the loft, sorry. Liliana actually has a loft because she sleeps upstairs. I meant like the garage, but because it is super hot in Reno right now, it is not a good idea or even safe to even play games in the garage. And there has been a couple of times where my PS5 overheated to the point where like it just stopped working, and I'm really scared to do that again. So most of the time I either play in the living room with like Lydia, like Fortnite or something, or I would just play in my room. And yeah, man, but no, I've been enjoying the PlayStation 5. I'm really excited I finally got it. And I'm really also happy I got this computer because I know I can use this computer for college, but I also can use it for my own editing purposes, whether it be editing for the YouTube channel, my podcast, shorts, or even just like uploading videos to my podcast or to my YouTube channel. What else? I went on a boat ride. Yeah, just this Saturday I went on a boat ride. Boy, was that fun. If you guys are subbed to my channel, like I said before, you guys would have probably saw me upload a short about me being on the boat ride, but then you probably also would have also seen my video. If you have not yet seen the video, it's only about like 7 minutes long. I'll put a link in the description below so that way you can check it out for yourself. It's not too long of a video, and I honestly haven't really vlogged as much. I feel like I've been making a lot more gaming videos, which, I mean, I love making gaming videos. Like, I love to play games. I'm a gamer, that kind of guy. But I also kind of miss making those vlogs when we're like out and about, like this boat ride. Like, I haven't done that in a minute, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was short, but I really enjoyed it. And also I just wanted to spend time with my family, you know, because me going to college in January, you know, there's still so much that I want to do before I officially head out to Virginia, which is still crazy that I'm even going there in the first place. Like, it is our next big step. And I may have mentioned this before in my other episodes. As you guys know, I'll be doing my online school for the first semester for Liberty University. Me and my dad were on a phone call with them just about last Tuesday, I would say. And we were trying to talk about, like, did my classes get updated, like what classes did I need to do, and all that kind of stuff. I won't bore you too much with the details. But I will say this, though. They are going to let me be able to do English and math, like just get it done with. And if I can complete those in my first semester, I won't even have to worry about them again. So far, I got, though, 18 credit hours, which to maybe some of you people, you're like, holy cow. 18 credit hours? And I know, like, what my dad told me is you never want to go over 12 credit hours, or maybe he said like 15 or 12. Like, you never want to go under. Like, the good minimum is about 12 credit hours. If you try to go any higher, it's going to suck or something like that. But if I can do this for at least my first semester, even though, yes, it's 18 credit hours, which is, I still think, pretty good. If I can get my English and math done, let's just get it out of the way. I don't even have to worry about it for the rest of my school year of college at Liberty University, which would be super nice. Plus, I would save a buttload of money. I would save up to like 12 grand if I decide to stay home and do online classes for my first semester, which is crazy because, you know, that 12 grand obviously could be used for whatever purposes, probably mostly college or car or whatever. But yeah, so that was really nice. I also found out that I have a really high credit score, not credit score, but like I have a very high score for math, which if people like friends or family who are listening or watching this, I'm not really a math guy. Heck, I'm not even really that good. So the fact that I had such a higher grade in math than I did in English, that shocked me, Dad and Mom. I guess I'm smarter than I think I was, you know what I'm saying? I guess maybe those homeschool classes didn't fail me after all, which, you know, I'm not saying that I want to pursue in math. Like, heck, no, I'm good. I do not want to pursue in that. But other than that, you know, I am, lots been going on, but nothing like too crazy. Just got back from church and just trying to figure some stuff out right now, you know, about my life, my future. It's been a crazy journey, you know, but other than that, you know, life's been pretty good. Life's been pretty chill, you know what I'm saying? Nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. I do know that me and the boys, Chris, Wes, and Aaron, are going to go see Fantastic Four on Friday, which we've been looking forward to. Like, they're telling me that I need to buy the same Fantastic Four sweater, which I kind of don't want to, but I'm not going to be the oddball of the group. Come on, I'm Flaco the Great. You think I'm just not going to get one of those? I just got to see if I can get one soon enough, because I don't get paid till Thursday. and we want to go see the movie on Friday. So I'm gonna have to try to figure it out. But they said they'll probably help me at least find one, so that way I can wear it for the movie theater. I'm also gonna go see Superman pretty soon. We're not really sure when, but I know me, Renard, and Dom want to go see it. That'll be another good episode to talk about. Is like the entire Superman movie review. I heard some things. So I heard some pretty good things about it. Like a lot of people are like, this is probably the best DC movie we've had in such a long time. Which is saying something, because we have never had a good DC movie in a long time. I mean, I guess besides like Batman 2022, but that was back in 2022. Years later, we still have never had a really good DC movie. So I'm not really a Superman guy though, but I'm willing to take the risk and see what the hype is all about, to see if it's really as good as people say. I mean, I had my doubts about Minecraft, and even though Minecraft is definitely not the greatest movie I've ever seen, it definitely surprised me for what it was. And I mean, hey, it did great in box office, and so far it seems Superman is also doing really well in box office too. So I mean, those numbers don't lie. That's what's really important about those numbers, whether it comes to Rotten Tomatoes or like positive reviews in the box office, which is how much the movie has made. So it's like, yeah, we'll see where that goes, man. But that's for later times. I also went to Comic-Con last Sunday, and I bought a Lego lightsaber. Give me one sec. Those of you who are watching, I have a Lego lightsaber that I got at Comic-Con at the Reno Convention Center. Me, Dom, and Renard went together. Wow, I wasn't expecting it to turn on. I haven't charged it. That jump scared me a little bit. I don't know why. But yeah, I got a Lego lightsaber. Don't ask me the price. I'm so dumb sometimes. I make the dumbest financial decisions like ever. Although I do really like it because I like to collect stuff, Like, I'm that kind of person. Like, I like to collect stuff, whether it be for like Fnaf, Star Wars, Marvel. Like, I'm just that kind of guy. I guess that's just a part of me that'll probably never ever leave me. I don't want it to, because I like collecting stuff, and I like all that kind of stuff, whether it be like Comic-Con or even just like a comic store, man. Like, that's something that me and Dom also have in common, and even Renard as well. We all just have that same mind of, we like to collect stuff, whether it be from like our favorite shows growing up or movies, comics. We really like that stuff. So that's why I love going to Comic-Con, man. I didn't dress up, though, this time. I didn't have time to really get a cosplay, and I didn't really want to wear my Darth Revan because it was so hot that day. It was around like 102 degrees, and if I walked outside in my Darth Revan costume, I'd be sweating bullets, possibly even pass out. But there were still some people who went all out in cosplays, man, which is like really impressive, Like, I think that's one of my favorite parts, is besides like the collecting stuff, is just seeing people's cosplays. Like, how far did you all go? How much did that cost? Or did you build that, Like, and I just really like that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, that's pretty much it, man. Just been working a lot, trying to get some extra money to be put into my savings. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I will say though, recently though, I've been looking forward to the Fnaf 2 movie, which is, I know, something that I have to do an episode about, but I'm not really sure what yet. I kind of want to wait till like the official trailer comes out for Fnaf 2, until that way I can break it down even a little bit more about what is it they're possibly trying to tell us in this movie. Like, what is the story? What characters are going to be super important in this movie? Is William Afton really going to come back in Fnaf 2? And what is the connection have to do with Henry Emily and the puppet? Like, when is the puppet going to show up? Are we going to have also the Wither animatronics? Because we never saw the Wither animatronics one time in the FNAF 2 teaser trailer, which maybe they're holding on that. But I also kind of even told my friends before, like, I don't really know if they'll actually even show or even introduce us to the Wither animatronics. And the reason why I'd say that is because, not that they don't want to, but if you think about it, so the first FNAF movie was given about $20 million to make this project. And while that, to some, that's like, oh wow, that's a lot of money, is actually really not. Like, that's not really a lot of money to make such a like a really big movie. Like, because FNAF, there's a lot of things and a lot of stories to tell. But believe it or not, when it comes to filming stories or like filming stuff in scenes, that does actually cost money. So there's only so much you can do with so much money. And probably most of the time, most of the money probably went into, making the set or even the animatronic designs themselves. Like, that's probably one of the more important things that they probably put the money into. And obviously the scenes as well. But, like I said, there's only so much you can do. However, Fnaf 2 was given about $60 million, so about $40 million more were given to them for the Fnaf 2 movie, because since it did so well in box office, obviously the people like Universal obviously gave them a little bit more in the budget to make Fnaf 2 even better than the first one, because that's kind of the goal, right? But for those of you who watch my YouTube channel and also watch me react to the Fnaf 2 teaser trailer, you can see the designs for like the toy animatronics are super legit. Like, it's so detailed, and I really loved it. You can tell that they definitely put a lot of money into making the designs for the toy animatronics so good and like so detailed and so like brand new. So that was really cool to see, man. And we saw some of the sets. Like, we obviously believe that we'll be going inside the FNAF 2 pizza set. And then we also know there's the thing called the Fall Fest, which part of the movie is probably going to be partaking, and probably that's where all the events begin to happen of the animatronics go on a killing spree, which is interesting that we're finally going to see the animatronics roaming throughout maybe not the city, but like, who knows where they're roaming, but they're breaking into people's houses, man, trying to kill them, and it's just like, what is going on? So I'm really excited to see what Scott Cawthon and Emma Tamey, who is also helps direct the FNAF movie, like, what are they thinking? Like, what is the story? Like, what is Scott up to? Like, what is he trying to put together, right? And then also we know, like, William Afton's gonna have like a big part in this, but not our Springtrap yet. We believe that they're gonna hold on Springtrap till FNAF 3, which they already talked about is already in production as well. So they're already trying to get like a step ahead for the movie projects. And we do know that we'll see William Afton a couple of times in the movie, but I don't really think he's going to be our main antagonist. That's probably going to either be like the toy animatronics or possibly the puppet. Probably the puppet might be the main antagonist for this FNAF 2 movie, since the puppet was also kind of the antagonist for the FNAF 2 game in 2014, right? And then we also know that Henry Emily, which is played by I'm going to search this up real quick because I want to make sure I'm saying his name. The thing that is so cool about the cast for two of them is we'll have Matthew Lillard and Skeet Ulrich? Is that... He's the guy who plays as Bill Loomis in Scream. But we are having our duos come back, but this time it's going to be different, right? It's going to be, Matthew Lillard is playing as the villain, William Afton, and of course Henry is the good guy who wants to stop William Afton. So it's interesting how we're going to be introduced to Henry Emily in the FNAF 2 movie. And I already kind of theorized that we were going to probably have Henry Emily in the FNAF 2 movie, because he also has a big part in this. But I'm really excited to see the duo come back together. There's probably going to be some flashback scenes, like the events that happened before, like everything that's happening right now. By the way, we're not even supposed to be talking about the FNAF 2 movie, are we? No, we're supposed to be on the main topic. I'm a nerd for FNAF, Star Wars, and all that. So when I'm in like the mood to talk about it, I'm just like in the mood to talk about it. So maybe we should probably get to today's episode. Having a hard time finding a church here at Reno? Then maybe you should check out Higher Vision Church. At Higher Vision Church Reno, we want to share the word with God throughout this entire city. At first, we started small around 4 years ago. And now, we have the building at the O'Brien Middle School, where every Sunday we come together as a family to worship God and to hear my dad's amazing sermons that he preaches every Sunday. Normally, when I come to church, obviously, I like to help out on the media team. But at the same time, I also love to hear what my dad has to say about whatever his God speaks on his heart. And maybe that's what you might need right now. If you want to know more about Higher Vision Church Reno, make sure you click the link in my description below. Or if you want, you can go to hvreno.church. That is hvreno.church to find out more about what our community at our church is trying to do for the city of Reno. Find out more about the Fallon family and the reason why we started this church. Join a small group. We're opening them up pretty soon. Come check out Higher Vision Church Reno. It will change your life. Or actually, even better, God will change your life at this church. That's hvreno.church, or click my link in the description below to find out more about Higher Vision Church. Alright, so today, for those of you who read the title and saw the thumbnail, we will be ranking every single FNAF game from worst to best. So if we're talking about canon games, there's about 14 FNAF games that have been released to the world since 2014 to 2025. I will not be including fan games like JR or the Glitch Attraction, all that, because I actually want to play like games that were actually made by Scott Cawthon himself. I'll also be mentioning 2 games that were actually canceled a while back, but they were still part of the FNAF canon event, and I thought it would be fair to introduce them because I did play one of them, which I'll get into in just a sec. But like I said, we'll be kind of going into my favorite FNAF games from worst to best. Now, I do want to recommend that if you have never played these games, they will contain spoilers because one of them is FNAF Secret of the Mimic. I'm not going to tell you where I put it in the list, but it is part of my list because after I played it, I actually redid this list. That's why I haven't recorded it yet, because I wanted to wait till I played like Secret of the Mimic, and then I was going to record an episode of me talking about my favorite FNAF games from worst to best, right? So like I said, there's 14 of these, we're ranking them from worst to best. These are my personal opinion. If you do not agree with it, then let me know how would you would have ranked your FNAF tier list, or better yet, let me know what your favorite FNAF game is, or what do you think is the worst FNAF game that has ever been made. So please do not get upset with me with this ranking, like I said, this is just my personal opinion from my own personal experience. But let's jump into this. We're starting at number 14. I feel like this one, hands down, deserves to be there, is FNAF World. FNAF World was an RPG game that was created by Scott Cawthon and the team down over at Freddy Fazbear's. I'm not saying his team is actually called Freddy Fazbear's, but I just want to call them that because, like, why not? I'm not really sure when it came out. I think it came out like 2016. But FNAF World, what isn't wrong with the game? FNAF World was supposed to be it is an RPG game, but it's definitely not like any other FNAF game we played. In fact, I just feel like FNAF World just lacked probably the most key importance, which is obviously the horror. Because FNAF is supposed to be, a scary game series with the jump scares that's supposed to get you by the edge of your seat. Instead, FNAF World was like the total opposite of that, and it had nothing to do with the horror aspects. And I heard the game, which is so buggy, so glitchy, it was boring, and there was really no purpose in the game whatsoever. Although I did hear, though, you do get to fight Scott Cawthon as like the final boss or something, which I mean, that's actually be kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie, but the game was in fact so bad that Scott Cawthon had removed it from all, what's the word? Like, he removed it from all gaming platforms, so you're no longer allowed to play it. Although, if you have a Game Jolt, which is like a website where like FNAF fan games are made, I did hear you can probably play FNAF World on there. But Scott Cawthon removed it from all gaming platforms. Like, he canceled the whole game. He realized that it was a big mistake making this game. Therefore, he shut it down. I may have not played it personally myself, but if Scott Cawthon hated it, then I hated it. That's why I'm putting it at number 14. Now, number 13 is a game that I have played. In fact, I even recorded on the channel once before, and it's called FNAF World. Wait, what? I can't read without my glasses. Ah, yes. FNAF AR. Why? There we go. Sorry. FNAF AR, or FNAF Special Delivery. Now, this game came out a bit ago. I want to say around like 2017. And for those of you who watch Markiplier, you would have seen that he was part of the trailer for FNAF Special Delivery. Now, that was kind of cool. So, FNAF AR is an AR game that you could have gotten on your Apple, your Android, your iPad. I don't think you could have played it on any other console because it's literally supposed to be an AR game. If you guys don't know what AR means, it's kind of like how would you describe AR? AR definition. There we go. Augmented reality, also known as mixed reality (MR), is a technology that overlays real 3D rendered computer graphics onto a portion of the real world through a display, such as a handheld device or a head-mounted display. So think of it as like a virtual reality where you know how like it makes it feel like that you're actually like in the world or whatever game that you're playing. Think of it as like that, but you're bringing 3D images into your world. So like FNAF AR, you were holding your phone and it made it look like the animatronics were like in your room when they were attacking you. That's kind of like what they meant by like real-time 3D rendering computer graphics. Like that's what the whole point of it is. Some of you may already know that because some of you may have AR games on your phone or whatnot. But this game also lacked the ambition to grab the audience's attention. Maybe it did from the beginning, but after a while, it went down like really bad. Like for instance, like and I experienced this too because I played FNAF Special Delivery on my YouTube channel. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a link in the description below. I'm not gonna lie, I did have fun, but there was definitely a lot of moments that just made me frustrated. For instance, sometimes the game was so bad and so buggy and glitchy that sometimes it would just shut down the app and wouldn't even let you like try to open the app itself. Like sometimes it wouldn't even let you play. There were some times where like the game would just glitch on you and for like obviously no reason, and it just got so annoying. Sometimes it just didn't work for like half the people who even got the game. Also, the game wasn't as scary as many people thought it was going to be, which I get it. But I mean, there were some moments where maybe the jump scares might get you, but at the same time, yeah, it definitely didn't have the scary factor that a lot of people wanted. Also, it also got boring as well because like, yeah, I mean, you get to collect these animatronics, whether they be animatronics from like special event, like during the Christmas time, the Halloween time, so on and so forth. It soon got boring because it's just the same thing over and over and over again, to the point that nobody ever really played it anymore. In fact, this game also got shut down and canceled by Scott Cawthon, and it was shut down, I believe, in 2023 or 2024. I could be wrong. It was one of those times. Although I will say though, I kind of wish they didn't, because maybe if they just cleaned it up or tried to make it a little bit better, maybe I would have kept playing it too. I kind of wish they didn't cancel it, but at the same time I can understand why from again like a director's perspective. Like, you know, this game's just not as good anymore, nobody ever plays it anymore, there's no point in keeping it up anymore if nobody will ever play it, so let's just shut it down for good, which is understandable. But yeah, I would say it's probably definitely way better than FNAF World, but it's still definitely not a great FNAF game for everybody to play. At number 12, we have FNAF Pizza Simulator. Now, I get the idea, concept of what they were trying to go with FNAF Pizza Simulator. I just wasn't a big fan of it, if I can be completely honest. So, like, here, let me explain. So, I've also recorded this only once, though, on my YouTube channel, where basically, we are basically building our own pizzeria. Like, we collect animatronics. That's what the interviews are for, is to make sure like the animatronics are good to go to collect. And then also you can just basically just keep growing your pizza simulator. You can buy arcades, you can buy props, you can get ads to sponsor you, and you'll get more money from it. But the downside of it is when you're doing your night shift, the ads will just play randomly and it makes a loud sound. And the point is, you don't want the animatronics to hear where you are, or else they'll come through the vents and then obviously, you know, try to kill you. While I like the concept of it, I honestly enjoyed the idea of like building your own pizza place. I just didn't really like the gameplay itself, especially when it came to the actual like night shift. I didn't really like that. I feel like it was honestly kind of too easy, but I didn't really like it as much. And the part when the ads just keep playing, I mean, I guess you are creating your own demise when you have so many ads try to sponsor you. But then it's like, it gets so annoying later on. And the jump scares are okay, but they're not as scary. I would say probably my favorite jump scare is probably Molten Freddy. And obviously the worst one is probably Scrap Trap, which, by the way, what was Scott thinking with the design of Scrap Trap? That's why this one is so low on my list. Like, Scrap Trap, like, he just looks like a deformed version of Megamind. Like, his forehead just got super huge for some reason. Like, I'm not really sure how. Maybe he hit his head really hard the last time he almost died. So it's just like, what happened to Scrap Trap? Like, he doesn't even look scary. He just looks stupid, okay? Although I will say that Scrap Baby was also a terrifying design, as long as Lefty as well, which Lefty is such a cool character. But it's just like, the game was not bad, but it just wasn't my personal favorite. I didn't really like most of the gameplay that came from it. I didn't really have the greatest experience where I was like, dude, this is like the greatest game ever, you know? And I feel like it was too easy of a game, but I like the idea of it. But I definitely have played better than Pizza Simulator. Also, there was one more thing I was trying to say about Pizza Simulator. Oh yeah, Helpy is adorable. I will say Helpy is adorable. That's it. Let's move on. Number 11, we have FNAF Ultimate Custom Night. This game, a lot of people love, and this game also a lot of people hate. and I'm kind of in the middle of it, right? Excuse me. Like let me explain. So, FNAF Ultimate Custom Night is obviously the ultimate custom night for people who played like FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, and I believe also FNAF 4, but I could be wrong. When you beat all the nights, you get your custom night where you can customize like how hard you want the animatronics to be. It goes from 1 all the way to 20, which means like it's going to be super hard mode, and you can do it for all the FNAF characters. But imagine that, but every single FNAF character from every FNAF game, from FNAF 1 to I believe Pizza Simulator. Yeah, FNAF 1 all the way to Pizza Simulator. So you can go against all the Freddys, all the Chicas, all the Bonnies, all the Foxies. You can go against Trash in the Gang, which is such a cool gang, by the way. And you can go against the Nightmare characters, the Sister Location characters. Although I will say, I'm very surprised that they did not put Funtime Freddy in the game whatsoever. It's almost like they replaced him, though, with Funtime Chica, which I'm not even sure if she's still canon or not. Maybe she is, because we also saw her in Help Wanted 2 for people who have that game. I still refuse to believe she's actually canon, but she probably is. But I'm very shocked that they replaced Funtime Freddy with Funtime Chica, because like I liked Funtime Freddy in Sister Location. I'm not gonna lie. So it was very upsetting for me. And I will say though, like for people who like a challenge, Ultimate Custom Night is definitely one of those games you will love to play. But sometimes though it can be so frustrating, it becomes like less enjoyable to even want to play anymore. And I feel like that's what happened with this game, which I guess it's really nothing against the game. I guess it's really more of like the gamers. Like, are they willing to push themselves towards the limit to try to beat the Knights, no matter like however hard you would want it to go, right? For me, I just didn't have the greatest experience, maybe because I'm just not that smart, but also like, yeah, it can be frustrating, especially like even if you have it like on like the easiest mode ever, you have no idea what you're doing, and then it's just like all of a sudden that stupid what's her name in the she's so bad I don't even remember her name. She's like, oh, how unfortunate, oh, unfortunate, I'm gonna do a sneaky thing. A brand new character in the ring, or something like that. She's so annoying, and I want to like grab her by the neck and go. Sorry, she just makes me really upset, and it's just like it's a great concept, and I bet if I actually play the game again, like actually try to beat it, I'll probably even put it even higher than I have it at number 11 right now. But it's just like, you know, my personal experience, I decided to just put it there, but maybe things will change when I actually play it again and maybe actually try to figure out the game itself. At number 10, we have FNAF 4. One of the hardest FNAF games, but also one of the scariest FNAF games ever created by Scott Cawthon. I think you guys know that I've played this game twice on the channel, and twice I am a loser. I've only beaten one night, and I can't even get past night 2 without screaming and pooping my pants. Not saying I did. Please don't write into the comments that I did that, because it's not true. The point is, y'all know what I'm trying to say. That game is terrifying. And I think that is the reason why it is not as high on my list. I have nothing against the actual gameplay, well, except for maybe a little bit when it comes to how hard it is. So the thing that makes it hard is, first, your adrenaline is like, it's like kicking, because you know you're so scared, because it's scary. Like, the thing is though, there is no like checking the cameras. You have to check the doors, and you have to listen. Like, you have to be super quiet, and I think that's what makes it even more scary when you do get jump scared, because you try to be so quiet, and when the jump scare happens, it's just like loud noise, you know. And so it's like, I think that's what makes it. It makes it work. Like, Scott Cawthon knew what he was doing when he made this game. He loves to torture the minds of people, especially if they have a fear of darkness and quietness. I'm not really sure it's probably a thing. I just don't know what it's called, but that's besides the point. So, like I said, you have to listen. And if you hear that's when you know you need to shut the door. Okay? But the thing is, if you see them like I don't remember. I honestly can't remember. I think there was a point where, like, if you shine your light on one of the animatronics, but you shut the door too early, it will kill you. There's also a time where Chica sent a cupcake at me and killed me. That scared me, but that made me super mad. So the game is, I guess, sometimes can be a little too hard to the point that players don't even want to play it anymore. And I've had my moments, but I didn't stop playing because I thought it was too hard. Sometimes I just stop playing because it actually scares me. And normally I don't get scared much from playing games. For FNAF 4, it's like a whole different experience. That being said, though, while it is the scariest FNAF game, it's not my most favorite I've ever played. But if you ever want to play a game where you can get like super scared to the point like your head just pops off your neck, FNAF 4 is definitely the game that you want to play. Now, how about we move on to number 9, which many of you maybe actually no, you're probably not going to be surprised. FNAF Sister Location is my number 9. Now, this game is probably one of more of the controversial games ever created by Scott Cawthon, but it was also known as the first free roam of the FNAF game series. So, obviously, again, you're playing as Mike Schmidt again. You're visiting your father's old factory, which I believe he called Afton Robotics. And as you're down there, you're starting doing like some what's the word? Not like task, like to make sure like the animatronics are still on their stages, to make sure like Funtime Freddy is prepped and ready. But then of course, obviously this is FNAF, nothing is normal. I would say though, Funtime Foxy probably jump scared me the most, due to the fact like you're in a room and you have to shine your light. If you're too close to him, he will jump scare you. Yep, I have definitely cried on my mother's shoulders when that happened. That's for sure. And then like with Ballora, I'm not really a big fan of Ballora, if I'm being quite honest. But like when you have to like crawl. And I played it on the VR and Help Wanted 2. That is even more terrifying than it is in such a location. But you have to like try to get through the room, but then like you hear music coming, you have to stop moving or she would jump scare you. And it's also a very scary jump scare. I think the reason why a lot of people thought that the game was like so controversial is like in the first like couple nights, it's super easy. But then, like, out of the blue, it gets, like, super intense, like, super hard, like FNAF 4 all over again. With the point where you're, like, in a spring lock suit, you have to make sure the spring locks don't spring lock you. At the same time, you're having, like, these mini Balloras just, like, trying to kill you. And it's just like, bro, what the heck just happened? And then so on and so forth. And then, like, I feel like that's why that game all of a sudden became kind of like it's like an up and down emotional roller coaster for the game, and I feel like that's what happened with me when I played Sister Location. Also, this is probably one of those FNAF games where it's like you play it once and you don't ever play it again, and I feel like that's what Sister Location was. Like for me, I beat it and I was like, you know what? I think I'm done. I'm pretty good where I am. I don't think I want to really play it anymore. I'm good. I'm done. Thanks for watching, even though I've never ever recorded myself playing that game. I don't know if I ever will, but we'll see how I feel. I will say, though, Ennard is probably the best character out of the whole game, even though I feel like he didn't get enough screen time. And also, the night shift with Ennard, I feel like it was too easy. But, I mean, I obviously died a couple times, but it was still, like, a little bit too easy. But Ennard is such a cool character, and it was really cool that they introduced him into Sister Location. So, bonus points for that. But I feel like that's why it's my number 9, because for me, yeah, it was also a very controversial game, but I like the designs for the animatronics, and the lore is pretty insane too for what it was. But that's why I put it at my number 9. My number 8, however, many people may be shocked, is FNAF Security Breach. Now, before y'all start grabbing pitchforks and torches and start marching toward my house, which I'm not even sure how you would know my address, let me explain. Everybody knows that FNAF Security Breach is one of the biggest FNAF games ever made. In fact, it was so big, it was very buggy and glitchy. It's just like, I'm not really sure why they didn't just finish cleaning up the game, but they just put it out there. Maybe it had to do with maybe some cancellations or something. I never really looked into it. But they released the game, but it was barely finished. That's why there were so much bugs and glitches and like crashes. And then they did clean it up a little bit more, but it still does have its bugs and glitches. But it's just like, it's like whatever. But when I played it on my Xbox, which was super dumb because I never realized how buggy it was going to be on my Xbox, it definitely wasn't the most pleasant experience. I did get it on my PlayStation 5 though for like $17.99, and it's definitely a way better experience on the PlayStation than it was on the Xbox. So I'm having a good time. But I have played Security Breach before. I've beaten the whole game. I've gotten all the endings. And the reason why I put it at number 8 is because like I've had a lot of crashes like on my Xbox, and it made me really upset, and so I'm docking points just because of it. It's not as scary as which I guess, because it's more of like a colorful big world game, which I have nothing against. Like, I like the idea what Steel Wool Studios and Scott were thinking of, but it definitely lacked the scariness, so it definitely docked some points there. But for what it was still a really good game, and I like where they went with it. The endings, some of them were a bit confusing, especially like a lot of people didn't really think the ending with Bird Trap was actually canon whatsoever. It was just one of the endings you can get. But we did find out later on that it is actually canon after Ruin came out. By the way, I'm also putting Ruin with Security Breach at number 8 because even though it is a different FNAF game, it is part of the Security Breach universe, and it is just a DLC. So I'm actually ranking it at number 8, even though I felt like it was a lot more scarier and a little bit better than Security Breach, just in my personal opinion. Like, I really liked what they did with Ruin. But in that, Security Breach is a great game. I still like it to this day, and some of the bugs and glitches are actually pretty hilarious. As people who watch like Corey X Kenshin, Jacksepticeye, 8-Bit Ryan, or even like Markiplier, there's just some funny moments where like the funniest bugs would just come out of nowhere, and it was like super hilarious to watch. But just for what it was, I didn't always have the greatest experience with it, so that's why I'm not putting it so high in my list. But for what it's worth, it's still a pretty good game in my personal experience. At number 7, we have the very first VR FNAF game, Help Wanted 1. You guys know I definitely recorded that game a lot on my YouTube channel. Playing FNAF VR is such a different experience than playing it like on your console, your computer, or even your phone. Which, by the way, who could play FNAF on their phone? Like, that's besides the point. The point is FNAF Help Wanted 1. It's pretty good for what it is. So obviously, you know, this is a virtual experience of almost every FNAF game that came out. So like, if I can remember, because I haven't played it in a minute. I should probably play it again. Maybe even record it. Wink, wink. But that's besides the point. So basically, FNAF Help 101 is a virtual experience of pretty much almost every FNAF game ever created. From FNAF 1, FNAF 2, FNAF 3, and FNAF 4. But it's a lot different in like FNAF 4. It's more of a like check doors and closets or something. It's something like that. I like the maintenance where you get to like fix up the animatronics. I feel like that's one of my favorite games. And actually one of my more popular FNAF Help Wanted videos is me actually doing maintenance on the animatronics. I'm not really sure why. It's just, I guess it's cool to see like, I don't know. I guess people really just like mechanical stuff. You know, I'm no engineer, but hey, I am a professional FNAF animatronic fixer. I ruined the moment, but you guys get the point. I will say though, the game also was a bit buggy. I say a bit. It wasn't as bad, but it did have some crash outs sometimes, like sometimes, but it hasn't really happened anymore. But the reason why I'm putting it at number 7 is because while the virtual experience is super great, I will say though, it's honestly really, like, it's super cool seeing it in a virtual world where you have to like check cameras, don't waste the power, make sure you like check the doors for like whether Bonnie, Chica, Foxy, or Freddy are coming after you. But at the same time though, like, some of the games were not personally my favorite, and like I didn't really play them. But I mean, obviously if you want to beat the game, obviously you have to play all the games, you know, and like obviously the hard modes. But it's just like, it was okay. There were some of them that were just like, eh. And some of them were just like, eh. But, you know, some of them were just like, dude, that was pretty good. I will say the DLC for Dreadbear was pretty good. Some of the games, though, were not personally my favorite. Like, we had to, like, try to, like, help, like, build Mangle or something. Or, like, what's his name? Jacko Foxy's, like, maze. I mean, that one was okay. But for some reason, a lot in that game, my game did bug a lot. It's still pretty good, but I do feel like I have played better. I mean, it's super good though. I have nothing against it, but I have played better, I will say. And there is one VR game that was definitely better than Help Wanted 1, but we're going to save that in just a minute. At number 6, though, we have FNAF 3. Now, this game was pretty good, but there were some people who actually do hate on it, which I'm very shocked because there's nothing really personally wrong with it, but there are a couple of things which I can get. Some people will be like, but hating on it, it's kind of disrespectful because I honestly can't really find anything to hate on it. So basically, FNAF 3 takes 30 years after the events of FNAF 1, and Freddy Fazbear's have built their very first Fazbear Frights, which is supposed to be a horror attraction for all the Freddy Faz. Well, actually, it's more of like, yeah, it's just a horror attraction for Freddy Fazbear's, basically. And obviously, you play as a security guard, and one of the nights they tell us that they found an actual animatronic, which we obviously know is Springtrap, who is William Afton after the events of when he got spring-locked in his own suit. And so that happened. The design for Springtrap is super scary and obviously way better than Scrap Trap from Pizza Simulator. Like, who decided to design that? I don't even think Scott Cawthon did it. It was just some weird guy. It was like, we should make him look like Megamind. Okay, that's besides the point. I love the design for Springtrap, and the game it also had some good moments where you were just like, but that, I feel like that was more with like the Phantom animatronics than with Springtrap himself. Let me talk about some of the downfalls for it. The Phantom animatronics were a great idea because, like, when the ventilations were down, you would start to hallucinate and you begin to see animatronics are not even actually there. But the thing is, it goes from being like a scary thing, like to more of like a, bro, are you serious? Because throughout the nights, it gets more annoying than it does get scary because it doesn't kill you, but it gets in the way when you're trying to do something. Especially if it's like Springtrap sitting in front of your window or he's at the door just peeking his little head. And then like all of a sudden you get like jump scared by like the Phantom animatronics and becomes like super annoyed and like scary anymore. But for people who play for like the first time, I can almost guarantee they'll be like, ah! And then Springtrap's jump scare is kind of lame. Like, you would think you would get, like, a cool jump scare instead. You just get him just walking like that. For people who are watching YouTube, Spotify, I'm like, that's all he does. It definitely docks some points. But other than that, FNAF 3 was such a good game. Like, I like the idea of it. Like, it was pretty good for what it was. But like I said, I have played better. But I still feel like FNAF 3 deserves a lot more love than it has been getting. I mean, at least, like, throughout the years. Because I thought it was pretty good for what it was. It's just those couple of things. But other than that, it was still like it was still a pretty good game. Alright, now it's time to dive into my top 5 FNAF games. These top 5 are almost like my everyday play FNAF games. At number 5, we're going to start with the OG itself. The one that started it all in 2014. FNAF 1. Everybody, let's just... FNAF 1 started it all. The beginning of something nobody ever thought would grow so big. But here we are. 11 years later, FNAF is still one of the biggest games out there. From the idea of Scott Cawthon to all of a sudden one of the biggest horror franchises known to man, FNAF 1 truly deserves its love and respect. Obviously, there has been other FNAF games that have been made that I will say are even better than FNAF 1, but that doesn't mean that FNAF 1 does not deserve to be at the top. That's why I'm putting it at number 5, because without FNAF 1, there wouldn't even be any other FNAF games, like, at all. And it's just like, it's crazy where we got from just like sitting in a room checking cameras to all of a sudden like story games like Secret of the Mimic or Security Breach or like Into the Pit for that instance. Like, it's crazy where we got from just that. And I believe Scott Cawthon knew what he was doing. Like, I bet he didn't even think it was going to work. And look where we are all these years later, from just an idea, an imagination, a story you want to create, and it worked. It obviously worked. And like, I'm super happy that Scott was able to do something so crazy and amazing like this. And it all started with FNAF 1. A cheap game with a simple story. You're a security guard. You need to survive 5 Nights at Freddy's, 12 to 6. Try not to get killed by the animatronics. And it is such an OG game. That's why I had to put it at number 5, because it's one of the top 5 best FNAF games of all time, personally, to me. But like I said, there have been some that I've played that I felt like were obviously better, but it definitely deserves a top 5 mention. Absolutely. At number 4, we have one of the newer games that came out in 2024. Actually, I think it was 2023, I would say. Or I honestly don't remember when it came out. But Fnaf Into the Pit. Fnaf Into the Pit, which is based off of the book Fnaf Into the Pit, was created by Scott Cawthon, obviously, and it is a 2D animated FNAF game where you are playing as the young boy, what's his name? Obviously, I have not played that game in a minute. Oswald. His name is Oswald. So basically, you're playing as the kid named Oswald, whose life is a bit of a mess. His dad has a new job, and they're not getting paid a lot. They live in a very stinky old town, and the only time he ever really does anything exciting is just eating pizza at Jeff's. However, he finds a ball pit, which actually helps him teleport back in time to the year we believe was 1984. I think was the time when he traveled back into. And obviously, that's where all the scary stuff happens. We have Pit Bonnie, who is obviously the main antagonist of the entire game. And I honestly really loved where they went with it. I didn't really think of it too much because, it's a 2D game. And I was like, how exactly can they make this work? Boy, have I underestimated what Scott Cawthon could do with the help of people who know how to make 2D games. It was amazing. I like the how you can get different endings. You can collect stuff, and there's a lot of secrets in the game. And then obviously, Pit Bonnie is pretty cool. I would say, though, it may not be like the scariest FNAF game ever, but for what it was really well done, and I really loved what they did with the game. And they better keep it up. If they ever make more, hopefully it's based off of books like Secret of the Mimic, because I feel like that was one of the more top books that Scott Cawthon ever made, and it obviously got its own game. I wonder though if Scott Cawthon may not stop there, and maybe other books or FNAF books may become games one day. Maybe that's where Scott Cawthon might go into next, because it worked for Into the Pit. So if he does do more, hopefully it's gonna be one of those top FNAF books made. But I have played this game myself, and I really love what they did with it. But it's not the greatest thing I've ever played. Although I have said before, it's one of the greatest things I've ever played. But the other games I'm about to mention definitely overtop this one. But for what it was for a 2D game, it was absolutely amazing. And I recommend you guys play it for yourself. Now, before we say our top 3, my top 3, if you guys have not yet known, I have a YouTube channel called Flaco the Great. I'll put a link in the description below. Make sure you click that link right now, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you can get notified of every new game or even episode from this podcast that I upload on the channel. Check out gaming videos, vlog videos, live streams, shorts, you name it. But all you have to do is just like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. And also follow me on Apple, Spotify for this podcast, or any other websites like iHeartRadio, etc. Now let's get to the top 3, shall we? At number 3, we have the newest FNAF game that has been released, FNAF Secret of the Mimic. This game blew my mind, and I loved every bit of it. Ever since the Mimic was introduced to us, the Spanish, I know Spanish. Let me try that again. Ever since Secret of the Mimic, I'm sorry. I'm gonna try this one more time. Ever since the Mimic was introduced to us in FNAF Ruin, he's been the top character in the FNAF franchise. I did it. I'm so proud of myself. A lot of people were really into the Mimic, and he's become one of the more popular characters for quite some time. And we finally got a game about what exactly the Mimic is. And I don't want to spoil too much until I actually did the episode about the Mimic, or at least about the game. But I will say it blew my mind. So obviously, for you people who saw the trailer, this game was based off in 1979. So obviously, we live in... I'm sorry if I screamed in your ear, if you were wearing your earbud. I'm so sorry. What I was trying to say was Secret of the Mimic was back in 1979, and it started as a carnival circus, which we now know what the Fall Fest meant. So before it became like a Freddy Fazbear's Diner, which actually, if you play the game, you can actually see some Freddy's Diner posters sometimes, like on pizza boxes. So it makes me wonder if like Fredbear's Diner did also exist besides like the circus, because it seemed also like this, like Edwin Murray's like factory Well, yeah, that's where we went to go. We didn't actually. Did we visit the attraction? I mean, I guess we kind of did, but it was more of like his workshop where he would like sell like his own animatronics and like costumes for people to use for like parties or for like carnivals or all that. Is what it seemed. But dude, the game was absolutely amazing. The chase with Jackie was amazing, and the secrets you can get, and just like the lore. It's just in there, and the fear factor. It was amazing, and just like getting to know the origins about the Mimic and how special this animatronic is unlike anything we ever seen. I mean, I get it. William Afton's supposed to be the main antagonist, but I think it's time to move on to maybe even a more dangerous threat. And it seems that the Mimic may be taking that role now as like the new threat in the Fazbear franchise. Like, suppose they decided to continue the journey with Cassidy, which I believe was her name, and a lot of people saying that she actually didn't die in one of the endings for Ruin, and she got saved by Roxy, which I also do believe is true. And maybe if they ever decide to continue her journey, it's how she escaped, but then also the Mimic is after her. Maybe she even gets to know more secrets and like maybe even the plans. Like a lot of people are wondering like why exactly the Mimic wanted the blueprints, which is kind of the reason why the Mimic was helping the main character named Arnold to get it. We believe that the Mimic also knew that Freddy Fazbear's wanted to take those blueprints to make more of him, and he didn't really want that. Yeah, also many people believe because obviously the Mimic mimics the characteristics and the actions of people he is around. Like that's how Edwin Murray designed the Mimic to be after he lost his wife Fiona in an accident at the circus, and then he lost his son David in I think it was a car accident. But see, the Mimic was designed to act like how Fiona was. Like that's what it was designed to do. But then after Edwin lost his son David, he also began to act like his son, and it made Edwin Murray upset to the point he would beat up the Mimic, to the point the Mimic also copied those actions of Edwin Murray. And we believe that the Mimic actually no, we do know that the Mimic killed Edwin. It became violent itself, just like the way Edwin was being violent towards the Mimic. The Mimic also copied that characteristic as well, and then he became a dangerous threat. But we also believe that he wanted to make a family of his own. Like the Mimic still has that mentally part of him in this program. Like he still wants a happy family, so why not make his own family to mimic maybe like the same people like Edwin, David, and Fiona. And so it's just crazy. You have to play the game yourself to totally understand. But it's by far been one of my favorite FNAF games that has come out recently. And I am willing to play it again. I'm going to because there's about... I don't remember how many endings. Like, there was like 3. I got one of the bad endings where like we actually get to see the Mimic in person and like try to survive it, which was like an extra hour long for that ending. But it was super amazing. There was one where you would like actually fight a character named Moon. If you play like one of the side games like on those computers, like the more collectibles you get, the more you can use it to actually beat that game, and then you actually get to like face Moon. And the other one was where we actually give him the blueprints, and I'm not really sure what happens after that because I haven't gotten that ending myself. But besides the point, I'm getting off topic. That is another topic for another episode. But FNAF Seeking the Mimic, you guys have to try it. It's been one of my favorite games for a good time now. And number 2, we have FNAF 2. I would say FNAF 2 is probably it's been actually my number 1 for the longest time, believe it or not. I love just the idea of it and just the whole gameplay of it. So basically, FNAF 2, you are yet again playing as a security guard. You got to make sure that you check the cameras, and make sure that nobody tries to break in or break out, and the animatronics sometimes get quirky at night. And besides just facing the toy animatronics, later on, you also have to face the withered animatronics, which are absolutely terrifying designs, I'm just not going to lie. And then also at the same time, you got to make sure you wind up the music box the puppet's going to get you. Like, there's so many things that you have to do, and I love it. I don't know why. I love it. I just love the gameplay of it. I love the designs with the toy animatronics. It looks more cleaner than it did in, like, the FNAF 1. And even the designs for the withered animatronics, too. And I just love it. Like, I love it. Like, out of all of them, I would say FNAF 2 is one of my favorites. I just love it. And believe it or not, a lot of people had huge respects for what FNAF 2 did. And the fact that we're getting a FNAF 2 movie, which I'm really excited about when it comes into the theater. Dear Jesus, Thank you for this day. Thank you for this food and bless it to my body. Please give me the wisdom and strength to just finish this episode. I know my mouth is hurting because I talk a lot, but please, amen. The fact that we're getting a Fnaf 2 movie in December 5th of 2025, I just had to put this higher because of it. Why can I say that the first time? That's the point. I just love it. Like, Fnaf 2 is probably one of my favorite, like, early Fnaf games released ever. It's been my number one for a long time. However, there is only one Fnaf game that truly is by far one of my most favorites ever. Fnaf Help Wanted 2. Not only the best VR Fnaf game I've ever played, it's not my most favorite VR game of all time, but one of my favorite Fnaf games I have ever made. Talking about it will not do it justice. You have to go play it for yourself. It is just so much better at everything. Where there's so many more tasks you can do. For instance, there's like the maintenance for the animatronics, which I already told you guys I love to do. You get to work in the kitchen. There's just some moments where it gets super scary, but it's just awesome. You can go bowling. You can do arts and crafts with Sun, makeup with Roxy, and there's just so much you can do, and I love every moment of it. It is one of my favorite FNAF games ever. It's just because of those things. Like I said, talking about it will not do it justice. You have to play the game for yourself in order to understand. It is such an amazing game. I love it. Some of you may be like, dude, I can't believe you're putting a VR game as your number one. It's just because of my personal experience. I love every moment of it. And the hard modes are even more insane too, you know? And like, I just love it. I don't know why. I just really love it. I love what they did with it. I might get it on my PlayStation 5, but I don't know if I will because I just think it's a better experience on the virtual reality than it is just on the console itself. But I'll let you guys know. I just really love what they did it with Help Wanted 2, and I will play it over and over again, and I just love it so much. It's definitely by far one of my favorite FNAF games I've ever played. If that never existed, probably FNAF 2 would probably still be my number one just because of my experience growing up playing it. But dude, I just love Help Wanted 2. It is by far one of my favorite FNAF games I've ever played. Well guys, I just realized something. This episode is probably going to actually be an hour long because we also had some breaks and ads in this episode, I can almost guarantee. But guys, that was ranking all 14 FNAF games from worst to best. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, make sure you like and subscribe. I will try to upload a lot more on the podcast and on my YouTube channel as well. For all my FNAF fans out there, I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. And again, please let me know, what is your favorite FNAF game? And hope you guys made it this far. Now, having said all that, guys, may God bless every single one of you. Speaking of that, my next episode I'm really excited to do is because it's something I used to do as a child, believe it or not, but that's for another episode. Until then, may God bless, and I'll see you guys for more Flaco the Great.